How's it going, guys? Jason here, and today on this video we're gonna make the ultimate, definitive anime tier list romance. Yes, I know this is not the most original idea, but one of the things that I like about tier list is that you get to know my refined taste in anime. And this is quite funny because out of all of the genres that exist in anime, the one that I've always enjoyed to watch is romance anime. Giant robots fighting each other, explosions, power scaling, it's sports tournaments, nah. Fuck that. I want to see people falling in love with each other, holding hands, people ending up together, boy meets girl, all of that crap. I enjoy it. And if you're familiar with this type of anime, you know that there's a shit ton of anime that don't exactly fit into the romance genre, but has some element of it. So I picked up a bunch of animes that are or straight up romance, or they're just like ecchi and harem, but has some element of romance in it. So like any other tier list video, we have S, A, B, C, D, E, F. S as being the total masterpiece, C as a mid-average anime show, and F as being the absolute worst. If I haven't seen an anime, I'll just give you my speculations of what I've heard. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so the first anime that we have here is Tsuki ga Kirei. And this is an anime that I watched a long time ago. I barely remember anything. If I remember correctly, the story is about two high school students who are in love with each other, but they're too shy to ask each other out. So they spend like 12 episodes trying to talk to each other, but they don't manage to do it. If there's something that I remember correctly, is the horrible CGI background of this anime. This anime, it's a mid show. I'll put it on C tier. It was alright, so it goes in there. Seiren. Absolutely mid anime. I think it's really mid. This goes straight up into C tier. The main character in this show, it's really bland. He's just your average anime character who doesn't have a lot of personality, and the girls just fall in love with him just because he was at the right place at the right time. And honestly, if you want to watch an anime similar to Seiren that is made by the same studio with a far better story, with well-developed characters, and more cuter heroines, just watch Amagami SS. One of the things that this anime is similar is that we have the 3-4 episode narrative structure where we have a different girl who falls in love with the main character in different timelines. Other than that, Amagami SS has a far better execution of the story, and the main character actually does something to get the different girl's heart, and not being this type of passive character who doesn't do anything. So again, if you want to watch an anime that it's actually worth it, don't watch this anime, just stick to Amagami SS. Alright, Violet Evergarden. This one goes to straight A. I love this series so much. It has this period drama type of style. It reminds me a lot of Downton Abbey. Yes guys, I watch Downton Abbey. It reminds me a lot of Downton Abbey and those period history type of series that I like a lot because I'm a history buff. I like the world building around it. It reminds me a lot of post-war World War I Germany. I don't know if someone have told you this, but have you tried to watch Violet Evergarden in German dub? The German dub of this series, it's so freaking good. Like the German sounds really appropriate for the type of genre that this show is. The animation, like, it's so freaking good. The attention to detail, everything about it, it's almost good. The only complaint that I have about this series is that they only have like one story arc per episode instead of like a 3 or 4 episode span. And overall the series, it's a roller coaster. You're gonna cry buckets, especially in episode 10 because it's going to destroy you emotionally. Like, nobody's prepared for that. Can we all appreciate how good is the soundtrack of this anime? Because oh my god, it's so freaking good. The orchestral arrangement, the emotion, just listen to the soundtrack alone, you're gonna have a really good experience. The movie as well is really good. I also recommend you to watch it, and it really gives a good closure to the story. So yeah, Violet Evergarden, really good. 5 centimeters per second, S tier. 5 centimeters per second is my all-time favorite Shinkai Makoto film. For many people, their favorite Makoto Shinkai film is either Kimi no Nawa or Weathering with You, and I mean, they're both fine, but for me, 5 centimeters per second just hits different. 5 centimeters per second gives a very realistic idea about how relationships between people fade. There's no magical power that brings the two characters together. It's only the brutality of reality that sometimes in life you don't end up with the people that you want to be. I think that this movie it's more of a coming of age story where the protagonist has to move on, and it's a really relatable one. The main character is so relatable. He cannot move on from his first crush, and he's so relatable in the way that sometimes you cannot stop thinking about that person. You're pandering about the past, like where did you go wrong, like what could have done better, like I should have do this, I should have done that. This movie, like it struck the chord within me. Even though the characters are not that fleshed out, I think that these characters represent a lot of ideas that for this film it really works really well. I think it's kind of underrated alongside Makoto Shinkai's other films. I think it deserves more recognition, and I still defend this movie as the best Makoto Shinkai best film. Kimi ni Todoke. It's an alright anime, I'll put it on B tier. I liked it, it's wholesome. I watched it a long time ago, so I cannot remember 100% of it. The only problem that I got with this anime is that they spent 2 whole seasons till both main characters started holding hands. Like, come on, man. 2 seasons, really, for holding hands? Bruh. Kaguya-sama. S tier. S tier. There you go. Kaguya-sama is an anime that keeps just getting better and better with each season. And now that this 3rd season is airing, like things are getting more interesting. Just telling you this, guys, like the characters are so well done. Like even secondary characters that doesn't have a lot of importance within the story get that attention from the author, and it just gives them, they're more fleshed out. I think we can all agree that Ishigami is the GOAT of this series. I'm freaking excited when we get into the festival cultural arc, and because after that the whole series, the whole tone of the series switch into the more comedic style of anime, into a more serious kind of dramatic thing. Just watch Kaguya-sama. Come on, it's one of the most popular anime out there. Chobits. Haven't watched the anime, I don't know anything about it. I just know the opening, which is a freaking banger. Ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let me be with you. You know, I'm gonna make another row on animes that I don't know anything about. There you go. Alright, let's go. Ichigo 100. A tier. A tier, definitely. One of the things that I like about Ichigo 100 is that the author managed to tie everything up, to have a closed ending, unlike other type of ecchi romance harem type of anime that always has an open ending with the character ending up with nobody. But in Ichigo 100, we have the main character choosing one girl, and that's it. Kimi no Nawa. A tier. I'll put it on A tier. And if you've seen my previous video, which is about Kimi no Nawa, you already know my opinions about it. But just to summarize it a little bit, I like the film, the animation, it's top notch, the music is freaking good. I think that this story has a lot of plot holes that I already explained in my previous video, so if you haven't watched it, then go for it. I think that Makoto Shinkai really changed the way he made his movies from Kimi no Nawa onwards, because you can see that this film has a more mainstream vibe from his previous films like 5 centimeters per second or Garden of Words, which it has a very different tone to it. I think that this movie has a lot of plot holes that sometimes it was for convenience or the characters are not that fleshed out, but this movie is absolutely solid. Oh boy. Domestic Girlfriend. I don't know where to put this, man. Domestic Girlfriend is my guilty pleasure anime manga. For those who aren't familiar with Domestic Girlfriend, the story is about this guy named Natsuo after banging this chick he met after a mixer, and also happens to be in love with his homeroom teacher. So his dad remarries to this lady who is going to move into their house so they can become a family. But also this lady has 2 daughters who are going to be, of course, the stepsisters. Guess who the daughters are? The older sister it's his homeroom teacher, and the younger sister is the girl he banged a while ago. So basically, Domestic Girlfriend is just a hentai made anime.
What are you doing, stepbro?
The story is a little bit wacky. Towards the end, it becomes a train wreck. The only reason that I like Domestic Girlfriend, it's because of the older sister. Just think about it, guys. Older sister, she's hot, and she's a teacher. And if you combine all of that, you just won my heart. I love these kind of stories of forbidden love. Like, I love the spice. Give me the spice. So I'm going to put Domestic Girlfriend into... You know, I'm going to be as objective and critical as possible. So I'm going to put Domestic Girlfriend into D. Hatsukoi Limited, B tier. It's a wholesome show, and it's also made by the same author of Ichigo 100. And there's no actual main character, you just have a lot of high school students who fall in love with each other. It's really good, solid rom-com. The Garden of Words, this goes into A tier. I like this film. The only complaint I have about it is that it's only like 40-30 minutes long. I wish it could be longer. Not gonna lie to you guys, the thing that got me into watching this movie was the forbidden relationship between the teacher and the student. All the stories that are about a teacher and a student, or your manager and a trainee, for some strange reason, I'm really invested into those types of stories. Just give me older women. Give me the MILFs, man. Give me the MILFs. Body Girl Senpai, S tier, freaking good anime. Oh my freaking lord, it's so freaking good. This is one of those anime where the title doesn't have anything to do with the actual content. Well, yes, we get the Bunny Girl Senpai. The first impression that I have about this series was about that it was going to be about fan service, but instead we get a very deep, emotional, slice of life type of anime that talks about a lot of issues that teenagers face, and it's so freaking relatable. Also, Mai is the best wife of the series. She's a keeper. You just need to watch the series and you can tell to everybody that Mai, she's girlfriend material. Just seeing Sakura being witty and being a man of culture, it's enough reason to watch this series. Nisekoi. Nisekoi, I think it goes into, I would say, into C tier, but like a high C. The problem with Nisekoi was more about the pacing of the story, because it started really well, it started progressing, and then somehow we got like 100 episodes of nothing happening. I have fond memories of Nisekoi because me and my best friend, we were reading the final chapters of the manga, right where Raku is choosing the final girl, and we were reading it as if we were watching the final match of the Champions League. So we were reading this chapter together, and you can see my best friend changing his bright smile into this look of sadness and disappointment. And you can see me reacting like, yes, yes, fuck you man, my girl won! I've never once in my life had this kind of rivalry with my best friend, this waifu war ever, until Nisekoi. Oh no. Oh boy. School days. I know what you're going to say. I know that all of you hate school days, that Makoto is a terrible character and all of that, but I like school days. What? What the fuck? You can say everything you want about the school days, but it's such a unique anime. It did something so different from the rest of the series that you've ever watched that you'll always remember school days. I've seen a lot of anime that I don't even remember what it's even about. But when we're talking about the school days, it's ingrained in your mind. I'm going to be as critical as possible, so I'm going to put school days in F tier. Well. What do we have here? Toradora. This definitely goes into S tier. I don't care what you think. I don't care about your opinion. S tier. I remember watching the anime of Toradora because my best friend showed it to me, and I had an awakening. When I discovered Toradora, everything else that I've watched was ecchi anime. Everybody's talking about the big three being Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. But the real big three, it's Toradora, High School DD, and High School of the Dead. Those three animes by themselves awoke something in me. From that point, everything that I watched was ecchi anime. Everything that was set in high school that has a lot of girls, I would watch it. I didn't care about the quality of the story. As long that it had like hot girls, I would watch it. I still remember reading Tulabru manga at 4 a.m. in the morning in the PSP. Yes, guys, before the smartphones, before I got internet in my house, I used the Wi-Fi from my neighbor from my PSP, and I used to read the manga of Tulabru, and it would take like 5 minutes to turn the page. You just have to look at the illustrations of Tulabru, I mean the manga, because the anime, the first season is very trashy, but the opening is so freaking good. The manga, like my goodness, like the manga, later on in the manga, the style of the drawings changed into a more raunchy and sexier. It's like, it's a work of art. Quintessential Quintuplets, B tier. It's a good series. The anime has 2 seasons and the manga is already finished. Just so you know it, guys, I've already read the manga, so I know how it ends. And it's a short manga. I think it's like 100 chapters. It's a really fast read. There's not much to say about this anime except that it's really good. It's entertaining. All the girls are lovable. But the $1 million question is, Jason, who's your best girl? Well, my best girl is Ichigo. I don't know, man. There's just something about older sisters. But other than that, I don't know what it is. But it has to be about her short hair. Short hair women, an older sister. It's just my weakness. I was a little bit disappointed about the ending of the manga, which I'm not gonna say it here because I want you guys to just binge read it. So I'm just gonna say that your satisfaction on the ending of the manga depends of which of the girls you follow. Clannad. You guys are gonna hate me. I haven't watched Clannad. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Bro, why you didn't watch Clannad? Like, it's so freaking good. You're gonna shed tears. It's freaking sad. Like, I know, guys. I know. I've tried to watch Clannad. I've started with the first season. And to be honest with you, I find it boring. I've tried to watch the first 3 episodes of the first season of Clannad to see how it goes and to see if it brings a spark within me. And I find it really boring. Instead of that, a lot of people on Reddit or on YouTube basically spoiled the shit out of this anime, and a lot of clips that came out and a lot of references that it kind of ruined the experience for me. I don't know, man. Like, you know, someday, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday I will watch Clannad on its entirety, and maybe I'll change my opinion about it. But for the moment, I'll put Clannad in the I don't know. Oreimo! What can I say about Oreimo that we all already know? I'm still salty that the main character kinda ended up with the little sister instead of her best friend, which had a better character development. Even me, that I'm into the whole Oni-chan thing. Oni-chan? I didn't like how it ended. The little sister was insufferable, overbearing, and I really think that the guy should have ended up with her best friend. She had a better character development. It's still better than this shit. I'm still salty with Oreimo. Kaichou wa Maid-Sama, S tier. This anime and manga, it's really good. It's actually my first shoujo series that I've ever watched. The story is freaking good. And can we all agree that Usui is perhaps the best husband ever? My guy Usui is setting the bar too high for us men. Everything he does is perfect. I've never seen a guy in an anime breaking 2 eggs with one hand and look so cool. And not only that, he knows how to play chess, he plays violin, he can cook. Like, this guy does everything. And the main character, Misaki, she's such a strong independent woman. Like, she's a really good main character. Toradora, I don't remember a lot of it even though I watched it many years ago. I prefer Golden Time over Toradora, who's made by the same author, because Golden Time is kinda like Toradora, but better. But speaking of Toradora, it was good, it was entertaining. The final episode was really cute. As much as I don't remember a lot of Toradora, I'll put it on B tier. Alright, next we have White Album 2. This goes into S tier. I have to say that White Album 2 is my absolute all-time favorite anime drama romance. There's just something about White Album 2 that really made me feel something different from other romance anime. I'm a really big fan of White Album 2. I didn't only watch the anime, but I've also played the visual novel, the light novels, everything. I love how realistic are the main characters, our three main characters. They are all so flawed. Everything that happens in White Album 2 is just a lesson of what not to do in love relationships. Another thing to point out is that White Album 2 has kinda a similar vibe to School Days, but in the sense that of the dramatism, the seriousness, and the dark vibe that it has around White Album 2. The music in White Album 2, it's also a key factor of why White Album 2 is so good. You cannot talk about White Album 2 without its music. The music in White Album 2, it's so soothing and so smooth, but it's also really sad. I wholeheartedly recommend you to watch the anime of White Album 2, but one of the things that I didn't like about White Album 2 is that it's only 12 episodes. There was no second season, there wasn't any continuation whatsoever. The only thing I didn't like about the anime of White Album 2 is that it was really rushed. If you play the original game, you're gonna notice how much they cut out in the anime. I remember watching for the first time White Album 2, and I went through the whole 13 episodes of the anime, and it left me empty and a little bit sad, and I was thinking to myself that no, it cannot end like that, right? This can be the end of this fantastic story. And guess what? Then later on, after I've discovered the anime, I realized that this anime was actually adapted from a visual novel. This visual novel has 3 chapters: introductory chapter, closing chapter, and coda. And the anime only adapted the first part of the story. So basically, the whole anime is just a prologue. Since 2013, I've waited to see the whole original game translated into English so I could enjoy the conclusion of this fantastic story. I'm really surprised that White Album 2 is not one of the most popular anime drama romance out there. Yosuga no Sora. Yosuga no Sora introduced me into a world that I've never seen before. I remember watching Yosuga no Sora for the first time when I was like 13, 14 years old. When I saw it, man, I was like, I shouldn't be watching this. This is so hot. This is so spicy. This is so taboo that I shouldn't watch this. But I cannot take my eyes from the screen. There were things morally wrong in the last arc, in the last few episodes of Yosuga no Sora, but I couldn't stop looking at it. Even to this day, I still remember Yosuga no Sora, and it's so unique. The anime is not even like that good. It's not like a masterpiece. It's not Evangelion. It's not Welcome to the NHK. But Yosuga no Sora did something for me that I don't think it's never going to happen again. So because of that, I think I'm going to put Yosuga no Sora A tier. I cannot believe I put Yosuga no Sora along Pilot Evergarden in your name. No one's going to believe me anymore. Next, we have A Town Where You Live, D tier. It was fine. I've read the manga of this series, and the anime was really wacky. It was really bad. It only adapted like few chapters of the manga, so they're just like OVAs. The manga started alright, but like Nisekoi, it committed the same mistake of doing like 100 episode filler that doesn't do anything for the story. The ending was okay, it was satisfying, it was a really good read, but I wouldn't say that it was like the best. And lastly, we have KissxSis. We have another horny boy anime. KissxSis, like Yosuga no Sora, is another guilty pleasure of mine. And for those of you who aren't familiar with KissxSis, the story revolves around 2 twin sisters trying to bang their stepbrother. That's it. There's no other way to explain it. This anime doesn't make any freaking sense, but you know, forget the logic on this one. Just don't think, just enjoy it. So I'll put KissxSis to A tier. There you go, guys. The ultimate, definitive anime romance tier list. So everything that it's listed here and classified here is the right thing. And if you have any discrepancies of my tier list, just to let you know, you're wrong, because I have the greatest and refined taste in anime. Anyways, just let me know your opinions in the comments below about this tier list. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing this type of videos. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like or even subscribe, and see you guys next time.